Okay, there we go. Yes, thank you. Right. So yeah, that's a bit update from Chris. So if I'm looking at my screen now. So really, Ange, you're there next. Did you want to give us an update of what you're seeing recently?
I think it's much of a muchness, really, just continues to be really busy. It's really great that we've got Lisa Jane on board now as our new to work alongside Teresa in the north of the county, which hallelujah. As you know, it's been so busy that it's been really lovely to have support from Anne over at Kemp with our SR1 patients. Thank you so much for taking some of those for us. That's really helpful. And also Lisa Watts at Primrose has been really helpful as well. So hopefully that's taken a bit of pressure off, off you guys. But yeah, just continues to be, so busy, very complex cases. Yeah, our service, I was really interesting to see how, you're in Worcester, it's almost gone up by 25% this year, hasn't it? The referrals, if my maths is right, or certainly 20%. That's a huge increase without more resources. And we lost Kate for a bit, didn't we? We didn't have a Kate for a while. So I think that says a lot about you as a team, and
it's been a tricky year, but we worked together with your support as well. So, thank you for bearing with us. We're almost there. Hopefully the new year will be a fresh start, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Ange. Sally, do you want to add anything about what we're seeing in Worcester?
I think Angie said it all really, and I just would like to say thank you again to our Macmillan colleagues and Kemp and Primrose for bearing with us whilst we've had a vacancy and induction of new members of staff. So thank you very much for working with us and being so patient and understanding. The only other thing was I've got an update from Ross Cancer Support Group, who couldn't be here today. So I'll just read it out. So says that our cancer support group has now moved to St Mary's Church Hall in Ross, which the meetings are now on the first Tuesday in the month. There's very few other rooms vacant in Ross. Having speakers makes a difference to attendance. Most of those attending at the moment are having treatment for prostate cancer. They've had Claire, who's a specialist clinical nurse, and Gaynor from Maggie's. And Ross Penyard Singers are raising funds at a concert, I think last week, as they need, the group needs the funding to be able to carry on. So they're going to be looking at more funding in the new year. So any ideas, welcome.
Lovely, thank you, Sally. Right, yeah, I think it's the same story, isn't it? But we're just all extremely busy. Sharon, you're next on my screen. Would you like to update us? You were having a big promotion last time. Did it go well? Oh. Sorry, you're on mute. Yeah.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, do you remember what the promotion was? I think
it was prostrate, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've been working really closely with the local prostate cancer team, encouraging men to get PSA blood tests, because 30% of men don't have any symptoms. So, if they are eligible, particularly if they've got prostate cancer in the family or they are Black, they are very high risk. So it's sort of raising awareness of that. I've just been working with the breast screening team as well. So we've been in Asda. We had 3 Wednesdays where we were promoting, it was a breast cancer awareness month, and that was back in October. So we were there. and you know, engaging with customers, which yeah, you know, it's always good raising money for a local breast cancer charity as well. So we have got lots of, the one thing that we're doing really well and is working well. So I work in cancer prevention, and some of you may know that I was at St Richard's Hospice for 3 years before this. So that really does give me that sort of push to do what I do, having seen patients at end stage. One of the things that we are working really hard on and doing really well with is our smear clinics. And we run smear clinics every month on a Saturday morning at surgeries within Worcester. And these are drop-in clinics as well. So as long as the person has had a letter and they are due their smear test, they can drop in at any one of our surgeries to have that. And we've also started Thursday evenings as well at Henwick Holt surgery. We have got in January, because it's cervical screening prevention week, we've got the whole week we're doing the drop-in from Monday the 22nd to Friday the 26th at St Martin's Gate surgery, and then again on the Saturday there in the morning. So yeah, we are doing quite a lot. We've got plans next year to well, it would be good. I've just been liaising with Ben about this. Present a cancer awareness session for Worcester Acute Hospital staff. I've done one for our smoking cessation workshop that we've been running, and also for the police force and Worcester County Council as well. So yeah, West Mercia Police and Worcester County Council. So I do a lot of online awareness as well. So next year we're looking again to be at the cricket club and Worcester Racecourse with various charities, raising awareness there. Hopefully we're going to be focusing on men's health. So I've linked in with testicular cancer charity. So we will be doing some awareness with that, and trying to get into more superstores, universities, St Paul's Hostel, Mags Day Centre, and all the community hubs as well. So yeah, we are busy and we are doing everything we can really to, you know, get people checked out earlier, understand symptoms, and don't ignore it, basically.
That's brilliant. The council are funding that, because yeah, that has been the issue, hasn't it? Late diagnosis and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Sharon. So next I'm looking at Anne Rendles. Just I know you've been helping out some of the work our team would have been doing, so we're so grateful for that.
Oh, only happy to do that. You know, it's great. I mean, in fact, I think that collaboration with different agencies and everything, we couldn't do our jobs, could we, without the support of everybody else? It's been fantastic. So it's lovely to be able to, you know, to reciprocate, really. I don't know about everyone else, but I do think that our cases have become so much more complicated by the lack of funds out there, you know, for people's incomes. I mean, I've struggled this last quarter with the complexity of, you know, some of the benefit inquiries that I've had, and patients so distressed by DWP's processes, and the wording of the letters are horrendous, absolutely horrendous, I think. And you know, I know that I deal with people at end of life, but when these standard letters come, they're so distressing. And not being able to communicate directly with individuals who have any influence at Department of Work and Pensions has been the biggest stumbling block for me. It's trying to deal with their systems in a sensitive way and reassure patients that they will still get their money. You know, it's really hard. So I'm sure you've all experienced exactly the same, but it has been, I think, particularly prolific in this last 3 months. Been shocking.
I think, yeah, it's the cost of living. People that wouldn't have needed other help other than with their illness, they're now needing general household cost help as well, which I was benefit advisor a few years back, and with the Macmillan team, and quite frequently I'd have a referral and I'd ring the patient or client up and they would say, oh no, we're perfectly all right, we don't need any benefits. But now, you know, you would hear that so rarely, you know. So yeah, I think we're all seeing the same. So yeah, so where do your referrals all mainly from the hospice or?
My referrals do come externally, because we're here to support anyone in the wildforest with a life-limiting illness. So I do get the referrals in from the GP surgeries as well, but fewer than them. But my remit is to look after Kemp Hospice service users. So that's the families as well. So when the patient dies, I can support the families as well through that difficult post bereavement period.
Lovely.
So yeah, it's
Thank you,
across the
Anne.
board. Thanks.
Okay, so Andrew, just have you got anything to add? Have you seen anything different?
I think mostly what Andrew and Sally already said. It just continues to be very busy. I think that's been the same for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 quarters, I think. So pretty much just keeping on. We're now fully staffed, which is a relief. So hopefully we can carry on as we have been doing.
Obviously something we might all need to be aware of, and the benefit advisors in particular, we've got our areas, obviously got universal credit managed migration starting next year, so that, you know, that would add some more complexity to some people's situations. So we're going to be trying to get some training for our advisors, see if we can get a benefits expert to just sort of guide us through what we might be expecting. Okay, thank you, Andrew. Safia, hi, you want to just give us a little update what's going on?
I think everybody's done it. So,
yeah, no, I know.
So yeah, I mean, pretty much the same situation, obviously, but also, you know, managing people's expectations. You know, these are the rules. There's not very much anybody can do about it. So, for example, bedroom tax, it is what it is. That's it. Trying to explain why when people tell you it's unfair. So just trying to explain, you know, what constitutes a spare room. And that can be difficult for people. But people, you know, want their children all to have separate rooms. So, no, sorry. You know, there is, and that's a difficult conversation, you know, and it's a sad conversation, but there's nothing that we can do about that really, except to, you know, maybe highlight to campaigns and research that people are concerned about it. So yeah, housing is always an issue, and again, trying to let people know that there's a housing crisis in the country, and that's the bottom line, and it will take, you know, it will take a while to change your housing. So I'm not talking about homeless people, I'm talking about people who want to move, you know, so
yes, things as you say, there are processes and timescales that you can't alter. So
and I'm sure everybody's saying that. And of course, if you know, I'll keep saying it, if mental health services could you know, be provided with support time and recovery workers, that would make our life a lot easier. So I don't know where they all went, the support time and recovery workers.
No.
But there you go, they went.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's me. Thank you.
Lovely, Safia, thank you. I think that's just got Kim then. Kim, do you want to just have a quick word how you're finding things? Or any news?
Hi, sorry guys. No, just exactly what Anne just said really. It's just, I think every person that's coming here is just money. They're just really, really struggling. and a lot of housing issues as well. Actually, I know Angie's been dealing with a patient who hasn't had any hot water, and unfortunately I think she's died now. Is that right, Anne? She hasn't had any hot water or be able to afford it for the last 2 years. I mean, you know, that's just appalling. So I think that's me really. It's just constant complex patients with no money and don't know which way to turn.
Yeah, I think you're right. One of the biggest issues when particularly our debt team are seeing it is the energy costs and energy debt. Yeah, over the cost of energy for heating, water and whatnot over the last 12 months it's just had such an impact on people's budgets. I think our debt team has had an increase of about 40% of people that are actually in a negative budget. So what we mean by that is, you know, we've applied for all the benefits they're entitled to. We've looked at any sort of spending that might be able to help them with debts. And then when you just look at essential expenditure and the income from benefits, they're still on a negative budget. You know, there's still not got enough to make the essential expenses. So, and when you talk about somebody who's ill as well, that's you know, it's a double whammy, isn't it? Yeah, no. Lovely, Kim, thank you. So yeah, I mean, that's very clear. We're all seeing the same thing. I just wondered, one of the things I wanted to just put on the agenda is, I think we're all so busy. We're talking about 20% increases in work and what have you, and it's good to share. And you know, for example, Chris today had you know, good thing we might be able to follow up. And I just wondered, with the pace of work and the volume of work, wonder whether perhaps we could have these meetings maybe 3 times a year instead of quarterly, just so you know, just aware of how busy everybody is. And don't know what your thoughts are, because that would still keep us in touch, but you know, I'm willing to keep going quarterly if that's what people want, but I know everyone's so busy. So
I think that makes sense.
What would you think, people? Go to 3 times a year just to keep in touch? Yeah, okay. I mean, obviously, if you have second thoughts after the meeting, just email Sally and we can take a consensus. You know, if everybody's really really like to be in touch a little bit more frequently, I can always, you know, convene a meeting if there's a hot topic that we want to speak about. But yeah, lovely. Okay then. Well, do you know what we didn't do? We didn't put our Christmas hats on and mince pies. A bit early, really, but yeah. All right, folks. Well, yeah. Have a great Christmas.
Oh, Sonia, sorry.
Yeah.
Sonia, I don't know if Kay wants to say something, because she's been invited to the meeting, so and Claire as well. Sorry.
Yeah, you came especially for an update. Yeah, come on then, Kay. Let's have your update.
You're just desperate to get on with Christmas, aren't you, Sonia? I had prepared some slides, but I'm just going to talk to you really briefly about the developments that the Alliance have made that will really potentially help you and the people you work with. You don't need it all. So just to recap on what the purpose of the Alliance is, the Alliance was founded about 18 months ago now, in line with the plans for a new integrated care system. It's required that the system works with VCSE organisations, and in most counties an alliance has been formed, so there's that sort of single point of contact for other partners within the system. So we have been working mostly with VCSE organisations who are working with health and well-being, but that our definition of health and well-being is broad. Everything we do, even model railway groups, that all feeds into good well-being and good mental health. So it's all the preventative stuff that the voluntary sector does, that we're trying to champion and support and find funding for too. So the past year has been kind of laying the groundwork, working with some of the bigger charities in Worcestershire. Kemp Hospice is one of those, various CABs, Act on Energy, I think was just mentioned in the chat. So some of those larger charities have been working on the governance and setting priorities and things. The next phase in the new year will be involving the membership of smaller organisations, community groups, more grassroots involvement. And we had a big assembly in October, it was, where we had 100 representatives from the whole of the county came together to sort of learn about what the Alliance have been doing so far, but also to feed into the objectives and plans for the next phase. I'll just highlight a couple of the sort of project or like strands of work that we've been working on that could be useful for you guys. So the Integrated Care System Academy is an online portal, maybe, I don't know if that's the right word, is a website basically where you can go on and find specialist free training from it's specialist for VCSE organisations. So there's a whole range on there that is going to be growing all the time. There will be things to do with safeguarding, things you may well have done before or need to top up on, but it's worth having a look. I will send links after this for all these points I give you. So the VCSE faculty at the ICS Academy, that's definitely one to have a little click around on. Another thing you might be interested in is our Community Wellbeing Roles Network. Probably people like that work at CAB, you might have come across it through your colleagues who work in lifestyle advisor roles. We've had people, lifestyle advisors, social prescribers, community builders, all people who work in community-facing roles that support the well-being of our communities, spend the majority of their time face-to-face in non-clinical prevention support. So I think it could be of interest to some of you. I know it's where do I get that time from, but it might be worth having a look at some of the things that we offer. So we've been running a monthly check-in. So similar to this, but less of an update. It's more a sort of well-being for yourself type chat with others in similar roles. So perhaps coping strategies, offloading a little bit, just that sort of general peer support and morale boosting. So that's a monthly check-in for community wellbeing roles. You can get sent the link, and if you can't come on the day, absolutely fine, don't need to send apologies, drop in for as long as you want. It's an hour, it's really informal, and it's just a bit of moral support really. And also part of the Wellbeing Roles Network, we have a quarterly get together. So at that we have a bit of a topic and a guest speaker. So we've had Harriet, I can't remember her second name, but she's head of housing, and I think might have been really helpful for some of you. She has an overview of the county of the housing support that's available, and she came to speak to us about signposting and services that are available and all that sort of thing. So we've also had a speaker from Natural England who spoke about the concept of nature collection and green social prescribing, so the value of being outside and how that can be incorporated into support. So keep an eye out for those future events in the new year. You're very welcome to come along, and you can watch back any of the guest speakers. So if you wanted to revisit the presentation from Harriet in housing, that might be worth a little look, see if there's any nuggets of information you don't already know. And then perhaps finally, one we'd love to make you aware of is the work that we're doing towards representation of VCSE organisations and embedding that within the integrated care system. So we've just got to check my list. We have voluntary community sector representatives on boards like Health and Wellbeing Board, Worcestershire Executive Committee, Mental Health Collaborative, Health Inequalities Prevention and Personalisation Board. I don't know if these mean anything to you, but basically if you have things just like Chris mentioned earlier, if there are things that you think could be progressed or issues that you're seeing that you think aren't getting anywhere with the existing networks you have, the more clinical perhaps networks, it might be that we can push them through a different route through our representatives on things like the Health and Wellbeing Board and the Worcestershire Executive Committee. So if ever you're thinking I need to get this a bit further, get in touch with us, either me or through the Alliance website. There's just a general inquiries page, and it might be that one of the representatives can put forward those thoughts, ideas, or things you've noticed that need a bit of attention, and we can perhaps put it to the right board, if that makes sense. I think that's all I'll update you with. What I'll do is I'll send you the full slides that we've put together if you want to have a quick scroll through, and if anything jumps out at you, have a look in more detail. And there's got all the web links that I've mentioned on there as well. But yeah, just to say thank you, and you're fab. I'm so sorry that you are seeing such, you know, difficulties and the complexities that you have to deal with. Yeah.
Gosh, that was all very useful information, Kate.
Sorry for
I nearly forgot about you. So thank you. That was really relevant. Yeah, yeah. And to have your slides,
yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Circulate those. That'd be brilliant. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. Yes, this chairing an informal group is more difficult than when you've got a full agenda, really. Okay.
Sorry, Sonia, I feel like I'm being a right pain in the neck. I'm trying to be helpful. I don't know if Claire wanted to add anything, and Ange Gillett had her hand up at one point, so I just noticed those two, so, and I'll shut up then. Sorry.
I think you'd probably be better at chairing than me.
No, no.
Just very quickly for South Worcestershire Macmillan, very much the same message really. A lot more complex cases, a lot of housing referrals. You know, sort of feel like I've got my social work hat back on again really, but you know, complex cases, food bank vouchers we're trying to get hold of, you know, housing people with mouldy conditions who are having chemotherapy. You know, it's really difficult, isn't it, trying to really make a significant impact of that. I know what the housing market's like, but we're getting far more things like that, doing a lot of blue badges. But yeah, more of the same really. In terms of Macmillan, the hubs are a bit quiet, I have to say. We're getting some signage, probably through the back door, I'd say. The actual project of improving our Macmillan hub in the main atrium, hoping it's still going forward, but question mark over that. But we'll see. There was a health and wellbeing event that took place, and I'm sure Ben would talk about this, but since you haven't got a mic, Ben, just can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear you now, actually?
All right, fine. I had to reset it. It was a pain.
I was just, I mean, you can talk about it, but I was just going to say that, that certainly the feedback from that was very much about the gap in support for patients during those incredibly early days when they haven't started treatment, they're not really fully sure what's going on, and it's all a bit of a waiting game, and they're just feeling a bit left. So there's certainly still a lot more work to be done, and support, and, you know, perhaps all of our services to, you know, especially us, to try and get that message more impregnated to staff that we are here, and we're just trying to support as many patients as we possibly can to support them from diagnosis and beyond. So we're getting involved in all sorts of things. You know, the Hope courses are still busy. Angie's facilitating those, or we're all facilitating them, but Angie's leading on those, but they're pretty much fully booked until June, I think, now. But yeah, in terms of complexity, it's just more. We've got a couple of volunteers hopefully starting in Worcester in the new year, fingers crossed. I'll keep you updated on that one. I think that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Claire. That's lovely. Ben, now we can hear you. Did you want to add anything at all?
Yeah, sorry, I all thought you were going to get away with it, but I'm sorry, I'll fix the mic. So yeah, just to echo really what colleagues Ange and Claire have said about the complexity of patients, and to pick up on Claire's point about the health and wellbeing event. It was a really good event. So we held it on a Saturday. It was well attended, but the patients are there's that gap between sort of diagnosis before they see anyone. So that's what we need to work on as a team with our CNSs to make sure we're picking up those patients, because I think that is then probably adding to the complexity of them because they're not getting the support at the beginning. So everything kind of sort of snowballs, I think, really. So, and a lot of patients were sort of saying about Macmillan as a whole, really, which we've all spoken about as a team in terms of what that looks like to patients. And so many patients have said they'd never really sort of approached Macmillan because they have this perception that it's end of life, really. So we have, and Claire and I met with Macmillan Comms last week, and there is some work that they're trying to do. And I did actually notice an advert on the TV the other day. The kind of the subtext, the line seems to have changed a bit at the bottom, but we're trying to sort of improve our visibility to patients around the hospital to make sure they're being signposted to the hubs appropriately, because that is something that we've noticed as a hospital for quite a while that is missing. So we're hoping to improve that for patients. But also to pick up on Anne and Sharon's point, I think this group is really useful for sort of the supportive working. I'm working a lot with Sharon and the ICB to make sure that we're all sort of abreast of what's going on, which is really good for patients and for us as colleagues, really, to know what's doing so we can all support each other. So yeah, so in terms of this group, I'm happy for it to be done 3 times a year, I think, as others have said, but we're all only a phone call away if we need anything. I know a lot of you sort of talk probably daily as it is anyway. So yeah, I think that's it from me. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you, Ben. I ask if I've forgotten anybody else. Don't think so this time. All right. Lovely. Well, it's good to see you all. And what about the date for next time? So we'll be talking about April then, wouldn't we? We go to that. You want to pick me a date, Sally?
That's put me on the spot because I haven't got my diary. So we're on a Wednesday this time. So if we went for a Tuesday,
Yeah.
How about, I'm not sure. Yeah. What about the 16th of April? I'm just literally putting a date.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
no,
16th.
sounds good to me. Yeah.
Sonia, I just wanted to, well, I had my hand up. I just wanted to ask whether a CAB nationally, we were talking about the cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
We're all hearing that inflation's gone down, food inflation's gone down. I can't see any evidence in the supermarkets that anything's changed. In fact, I think things are probably more expensive. A CAB as a collaborative, working on pressuring.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure at the end of the day, it's the supermarkets being greedy, but
yeah, no, indeed, we're gathering all the statistics too in terms of what households are seeing, and the big indicator is the crisis support when people come to us for energy vouchers and food bank vouchers, and then we can feed back what why is that household struggling? Is it because they're on benefits, which we're campaigning that means tested benefits should be uplifted? Yeah, so yeah, we're trying to put, I mean, what happens is all the local offices from what guys are seeing, they feed that up the line. And yeah, funnily enough, we had the national chief executive come to speak at our AGM yesterday, and yeah, she reiterated that was one of their main issues for this, that they're working on at the moment, the fact that people are in negative budgets, as we call it, and inflation. Yeah, they say the figures come down slightly, but that still means it's inflation. They're still figures going up, but until inflation is 1 or 2%, then it's still got a huge impact on people. So okay, it might come down from whatever the 7 or 8 it was down to a 4, but that's still prices going up all the time. So yeah, you're right, there's nothing, and there are different measures as well, because then if they take something like fuel costs out of the equation, it looks like inflation isn't so bad, or so they play around with figures as well. You have to get to the underlying root of it, but yeah, it's something definitely Citizens Advice trying to sort of put pressure on various agencies in government. Yeah.
I thought you would be. I just was quite interested to
what
ask
your
you about that.
gut feeling is right. Yeah, things aren't getting any better. Unfortunately.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Okay, folks. Well, enjoy the Christmas season, and forward to seeing you next year. All right, take care all. Bye.